And so in project management, you should say, I know XYZ. I don't know this, but I'm going to hire somebody for that skill and or I'm going to learn it. I'm not going to be an expert, but I can learn a little bit about it. And so that's what project management is. So if we're on defense, seldom do people play offense and defense. They don't shoot the ball from, the free throw line and the late. Like everybody has their skill, and together that's what brings a championship. It's not an individual sport.
Hey friends, welcome to Public Health Careers. I'm Omar Richens, founder of the Public Health Millennial and host of Public Health Careers. Join us as we dive deep into public health topics and career journeys. You'll hear diverse career stories, absorb professional development and career strategies to help you learn, navigate, and transform your public health journey. On today's episode, we have Tamara McLemore. Tamara is founder of Tamara McLemore Enterprises. She's an executive consultant, certified project management professional instructor with a wealth of experience spanning over 25 years in various industries, including technology, federal government, and aviation. Tamara has risen from being a project manager to now serving as a chief impact officer of her own company. In today's episode, you'll hear and learn more about the benefits of a PMP certification for someone in public health or a health-serving career, including career progression, salary increases, and more. How project management skills are often already being used in various roles. Why being coachable is crucial for career growth and development. How mentorship and sponsorship play an important role in professional growth. The importance of having diverse mentorship to have broader perspectives and learnings, and much, much more. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who will enjoy it, and enjoy today's episode.
Hi, I'm Tamara McLemore of Tamara McLemore Enterprises, and I coach individuals like yourself to PMP Certification greatness. I have over 20 years of experience in telecom, federal government. I work for airline industry. And yes, I've done some healthcare. While working for the federal government, I have implemented some VA hospitals and clinics and things of that nature. And so project management is for everybody, especially people in healthcare. With the rising cost of healthcare, I have people that are doctors, pharmacists, and definitely public health individuals like yourself. And so the PMP certification is for everybody. I'm super excited to be here to drop some gems on your audience today. And you're listening to Public Health Careers.
Tamara, I'm so excited to have you on today and to learn more about your expertise and to translate that to people in public health. I find like oftentimes I am talking about project management and their various degrees of what that might look like. But before we dive into things, I know that you introduced yourself a little bit there, but just want to say Tamara is the founder of Tamara McLemore Enterprises. She's an executive coach, certified project management professional, instructor, and has a wealth of experience spanning 25 years in various industries. And I'm very much looking forward to learning more about how all the coaching and the learning can be implemented into public health to help people get into better jobs, and really get to where they would like to be. But before we jump into all of the project management stuff, I would love to hear, how do you identify, and tell us a little about your personal background?
So I identify as her. And wait, I'm sorry, ask the question again. I'm so sorry. The last part.
So how do you identify, and tell us a little about your personal background?
So I identify as she, her. And I've been, like I said, in project management for over 20 years. I went to the Xavier University of New Orleans, which is a mecca for healthcare, especially putting Blacks and African Americans and minorities into med school. We produce a large amount of the pharmacists and in healthcare, period. And so that's one thing that I know is healthcare. Although I'm a project manager by trade, my roommate, all my friends and family, a lot of them are doctors or physicians or in the healthcare arena. So I definitely understand the beginning and the end and how to help people in the public health sector move up, out, meaning consult, and do their own company. So I'm here to. So I know that I can, drop some gems on your audience.
Love that. So project management often feels intimidating or unattainable for many professionals. Why do you believe the PMP certification is not just a credential, but a game changer for career success, especially in fields like public health?
So here's the thing. You guys are already doing it. So let's take a hospital's enormous budget and the rising cost of healthcare. That is a project. So let's say, I have a couple clients that are working in some of the new hospitals all over the country. One is she just got a position with Healthcare of Dallas, the Children's Healthcare of Dallas. They are merging, building a new facility. That is a project. Here in Atlanta, we got CHOA, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. That whole project of implementing the new facility, the AI that they're doing, so many things within that organization, their project, meaning a beginning and an end, unique product or service, quality, risk management, a schedule, and everything in between. And so, guess what? If you're in public health care, you're already doing project management. You just don't know the terms that relate to project management. And that is what I'm here to do, dispel all these myths that you're getting into project management. I would say you're already in project management. You just don't know it.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think it's so important about like having that perspective, and oftentimes having that coach to like help us see that like the work that we're doing is project management, and it's just how do we talk about it in a way that reflects that to whether that's employees or people that are trying to hire us for consulting and different things like that. So you alluded to this. You've had an extensive career transitioning across many industries, tech, aviation, federal government, and you've built a lot of expertise. Can you just walk us through briefly that story and how did you get to where you are right now?
By accident. By accident and being coachable, because I have a journalism degree and I decided before I graduated I didn't want to work in journalism. And so my aunt told me to go into technology, which is project management. And so that's how I started in tech. It was that easy. And I got some great mentors. I was coachable. They were like, you can write. That is part of project management, writing the requirements and understanding that you have to communicate with the C-suite, with your level, with logistics, with third-party vendors. All of that is project management. And so that's how I got into it. And like I said, I was coachable, I was green. Some people think you have to know so much about it. My claim to fame was I didn't.
And maybe speak to that a little bit more. What made you coachable, or maybe in working with clients, what are some things that you find in people that make them maybe uncoachable, and how do you get them across to being more coachable?
So a lot of times people teach us we have to be so much better and we need to come and know 120%. But if you already are at the ceiling and you think you know everything and you have this air about you that you know everything, then people are like, okay, she got it. I don't need to help her. But really, project management is a team sport. So as we're recording this, the championship is getting ready to come up. Super Bowl is in January. Like literally teams, when they know they won a championship, they don't start when they want the championship. They build their dream. Keyword team. Keyword is team. And so project management is a team sport. You have developers, you have testers, you have engineers, subject matter experts, you have the C-suite, you have the users, you have the vendors. And so that's what we have to understand is being coachable means I don't need to know everything. We got to put that down. That's too much baggage to carry. And so in project management, you should say, I know XYZ. I don't know this, but I'm going to hire somebody for that skill or I'm going to learn it. I'm not going to be an expert, but I can learn a little bit about it. And so that's what project management is. So if we're on defense, seldom do people play offense and defense. They don't shoot the ball from, the free throw line and the late. Like everybody has their skill, and together that's what brings a championship. It's not an individual sport.
I absolutely appreciate that, and I think like that goes to speak to like having a growth mindset and just like understanding that we do have strengths, we do have weaknesses, and to that point, it's either like we learn enough to be dangerous in those weaknesses, or we hire out or get support or build that team to have people that have that expertise on that side. So I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and we said that you were the founder of Tamara McLemore Enterprises.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start that coaching business and focus on empowering mid-career women specifically?
Oh, that was an accident too. So I'm not one of these people say, oh, I want my own company. I want to do this. Guess what? I just started doing it. So as I work for these organizations, I always had mentees, and then my mentees were getting results and they start referring people. Then my friends, they would get the benefit of me coaching them and raises and promotions. And the friends of friends start referring people. And so I was just helping so many people. And quite frankly, I was exhausted. I was tired. And I would tell all the people in tech, okay, you guys meet me at Barnes and Noble. And then all the other majors or industries, you meet me at Starbucks. And I was just coaching everyone. And so I had a contract at Delta Airlines, and they made me an on-site consultant coach. And I was like, what is that? And my contract company said, we heard that you help coach individuals when their contracts are up for renewal, when you feel like their projects, the capital funding may be taken away. You just help them navigate that. And we want this to be a permanent job. So once again, my strengths made room for me. So that's how my company started.
Love it. Love it. Trust in the process and the journey.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to shift a little bit here. As I mentioned, your work focuses on mid-career professionals, but I wanted to have this little section here for people that maybe be early on in their career. So the remainder of the conversation is going to focus more on mid-career professionals, but we have to work towards getting to be mid-career professionals. So, and as well as like many of my listeners are early careerists. So what piece of advice would you give to someone who's now entering the field from your expertise?
So here's the thing. I want to be very careful with this early career and mid-career, because we have people on LinkedIn all day long saying, oh, I'm early career, 10 years. So I'm like, oh, that's mid-career, so it's relative. Or they have transitioned, they feel like they have to start over. And they're starting, oh, I'm early career because I've been in this industry for 10 years, and now I'm switching industries. I got to start all over. Nobody's starting all over. You're bringing your previous experience to the new company or the new industry. And so I want to be very careful with this early career, mid-career, because that's relative. So I'll just say that. So here's the thing. That used to be my target. Now it's for everybody. In the last couple boot camps, I've had early career, because guess what? They know what they bring into the table. They have quality, they have Lean, Six Sigma, and they're like, I want this PMP to put together, with my qualities. And then I have some executives, some seniors that are getting ready to retire, early retirement, and they want to leave the industry and consult or start their own company. So my last couple boot camps, we've had everybody from beginning, mid-career, and ending their career to consult. And so everybody can be a project manager. To actually get your application approved, you only need 36 months. I'm going to say that again. That is 36 months of experience. That's 3 years. So guess what? Everybody is a project manager. Everybody has 3 years of experience.
That's real. No, that's very, very real, and I think that's important, because as you're saying, because many people do shift into public health,
Yes.
whether that's from different industries, and to your point, it's like all about perspective, because you could be thinking, I'm coming into this, I'm like an early careerist, but then you have all these transferable skills and all these years of experience that you really bring into the work. So I think I'm grateful that you highlighted that and opened up that conversation.
Absolutely. So, for instance, I have some friends that are doctors, and during COVID, they went into public health to do studies, to do, some of the implementation for COVID, the vaccinations, just all kind of different things, minus, seeing patients on a day to day. Do you think they started over and said, oh, now that I'm going to the public health side? Absolutely not. And so I have pharmacists that went into more logistics and, selling products, made a killing in the industry during COVID because they're knowledgeable and they have the background, but they didn't start over. They're transitioning, pivoting. So yeah, we got to change that mindset. Got to change that mindset.
I want to dig more into the perspective on the PMP certification as a career accelerator.
Yes.
Can you share maybe some of the benefits for public health professionals for getting a PMP certification, whether that's including salary increases or strategic career advancement?
All of that. The laundry list is so long, so I can't even go over all the benefits. But the first one is a significant increase, 20 to 30% increase. And that's just the average. A lot of times my clients are getting 30 to 40% increases in salary. So that's one of the benefits. The second benefit is you're more strategic, meaning you have a different bird's eye view. So you definitely can pivot into other areas without going back to school and getting a whole MD or a master's certificate. So that's one of the benefits. The list is so long. Then you can go into quality, you can go into risk management. Like I said, the benefits are, there's a laundry list. One of the key things that we have to understand is a lot of things in public health, they may be grants or funding from the government. Guess what? That's a set project because you have a beginning date and an end date. You have a set amount of funding that you have to use accordingly, and you cannot play with that, the funding or the dates. And so you have to know how to manage this more so than somebody in corporate. So it gives you a different lens on how to manage the public health sector. And so, like I said, the benefits, there's a laundry list, but you can move up, you can move over, you can just do so much with the PMP certification.
Okay. And just to get clarity on the 36 months to 3 years that you shared above, what is that and why is that important?
So that is important because that's to get the PMP application approved. And so I help people sit down and we outline together what their potential projects may be. So for instance, if you, like I said, a grant and you have managed that grant from beginning to end, it's a 2-year grant, that's 2 years of a project. And I help you understand, oh, I plan, led, and implemented XYZ vaccination. I plan and monitor the results. I had one person, she did public health in the school system, and we were able to track that. So you got 2 years of that initiative, and then you use another project. And guess what? It can be the same type. What makes it different is a different year and a different type of maybe tracking that you're doing as far as public health. But absolutely.
Okay. And in doing some research on you and the work that you've done, I came across some information that says like PMP is a lot more lucrative than many other qualifications that you can get. Can you speak more to that?
So the average is normally, see, I've been in project management for 20 years. So that's all I pretty much know. But I want to say the average salary in a major metropolitan area, I'm going to have to double check this, but it's around 130, 150. And that's just mid-career. So imagine you have more experience, capital projects, industry specific, you have your niche, you can make 200,000 easily in project management. You add lean to it, you add AI, you can add things to project management. I have people, like I said, in the legal field, in education, public health and education. So you start to layer this, you just become so more attractive to organizations.
And we'll get into more of the offerings that you do with project management for professionals. But I would love to hear maybe some of your client success stories or wins that have happened throughout your years of coaching.
Oh my goodness. I have people that are making double.
Hmm.
I have a client that she just got an offer. She was making 55. She wanted to make, her target was 85. Her offer came in at 96. I have other clients, exact same scenario. And guess what? One of them was out of work for a whole year because of COVID. Most of them have had gaps. I have clients that were contractors that got converted to full-time employees, got a 30% increase. I have clients that got speaking engagements now. And guess what? Most of them in the healthcare industry as well. One client, her company has laid off twice this year. I'm going to say that again. Her company has laid off twice. She's only been with the company for 2 years. She got a raise and a significant bonus. And I know you didn't ask me what significant mean, but I'm going to tell you the bonus was 26%.
Wow.
Exactly. But guess what? That's normal in my community because my women know what they bring to the table. And I will say a few good men. We do have men in our boot camp. But as you said before, most of my clients are women and we're underpaid already. So when they understand, I have led this initiative, I have reduced this, I have increased the numbers on this, they're able to quantify what they bring to the table. And that's why they're getting these major bonuses and raises. Because you speak different. You have a little different swagger with your PMP certification. And you're able to back it up as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'd imagine that imposter syndrome is something that you have to deal with clients. How do you help people and support them thinking through and getting over that imposter syndrome?
That's a good question. So I do that at the in initial conversation. So I look at their LinkedIn and they're telling me they don't have this, this, and this, and I'm looking at their LinkedIn and I'm always ready for it because I know that's going to be the thing. Oh, I don't have enough experience. I don't have the title. Well, the first thing I do is I bring up PMI's definition of project manager. It never said you had to have the title. A lot of project managers don't have the title. It is your role. What was your role? It didn't say title. It says title and or role. So that's the first thing. Reading is fundamental. That's the first thing. Then I go on LinkedIn and I'm able to identify their projects. So when they say I don't have the experience, I'm able to break out, yes, you do. You have XYZ experience. And they're like, where are you getting this from? I'm like, LinkedIn. It's all on your LinkedIn. And so I blow their mind, and once they are able to see that they've actually done projects, once they get in that boot camp and they see individuals just like them will so when they get in that boot camp and they can see individuals just like them with even less experience have more confidence, it starts to build their confidence as well.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think that is so important. It's just like having that outside look and that perspective to say, like, you don't think you're doing this, but like I'm actually looking at your profile and you have all these things. It's just like you mightn't have thought of it in that way. So,
Yeah.
that's good.
And let me say this, and I tell all my clients, I have some beast of a clientele, which means my clients, they are SCSers, they're directors, they're CIOs, they work in healthcare, public health, doctors, educators, meaning teachers, principals that have transitioned, sales, marketing, finance. I mean, some beast of a client list. And I tell all of them, I've been in this industry 20 years, but I cannot go to their job tomorrow and do what they do. I can't. So they're subject matter experts just because they're doing a job and the organization feels that they're worthy of a check. They haven't been laid off. They made it through several rounds. They're experts. And so I speak real talk to them to get them know a multi-billion-dollar company thinks you're an expert. You're an expert and they pay you for it.
So I want to shift a little bit more to barriers or maybe common myths that people have around the PMP certification.
Whew.
So what are some myths and misconceptions about PMP?
One of them is that you need to study like you're an undergrad or getting an MBA. You need to study for a whole year. That couldn't be further from the truth. Most people in my boot camp pass the PMP certification within 30 days. I'm going to say that again. Most people in my boot camp pass within 30 days. It does not take all of that because I have everybody baseline themselves and I get them to see that you really know half of the curriculum already, whether it's the hard skills or the soft skills or a combination. You at least know 40 or 50% of the curriculum. That's the first thing. Once again, the second myth is that you have to have the title of project manager. It's just not true. I will say, oh, bless you. I will say, I have a lot of people in nonprofit with healthcare, education, and the third fastest growing industry that want project managers is nonprofit because they manage a small budget and a short timeline, and they got to deliver in order to impact the community where their mission states. And so that's one of the huge myths that you have to be in tech or one of these other industries. It's just not so. And I tell people, stay off the internet. I mean, Google University is amazing for a lot of things, but some of these myths and some of these group chats, it's just bad information off of bad information. And guess what? If it's online, people think it's fact. It's fake news. A lot of these myths that that you have to have the title, that you have to work in tech, that it's going to take a year. Those are some of the biggest myths. It's just not true.
And what does the logistics of actually taking the PMP look like? Is it like a 4-hour exam or what does that look like?
It's a 4-hour exam, but the good thing is PMI has made this exam so relatable. I'm not going to say easy, but it makes sense. So the old exam, when I took it, I'm not gonna lie, we had to do formulas, we had to memorize. It was a bit undertaking, but like everything evolves, and this exam has totally evolved. I have had people that have attempted to take it years ago the old way and see the new way. They're like, oh, this is so much better. And it really is. And so it's a 4 hour exam, but it goes by really quick because the questions and the answers, they make sense. It's so funny. The last boot camp, people were answering the questions. We do a live drill. People were answering the questions, and I would flat out say, girl, you would not do that. You would be in jail if you did that. Or you would be in HR. Like, you would not do that. It says you have a contract. And just because the vendor is not performing, you can't cancel the contract. You would not do that. You would go to legal, you would go to management and XYZ. And then we would start laughing. So we have a good time in the boot camp, but the curriculum really makes sense. It really does.
And what do the questions look like? Is it all multiple choice questions?
It's multiple choice, yes. And they give you scenarios. 2, you can just flat out just disregard. It just makes no sense. And then there are 2 questions that are similar. But once you become an expert, it's what would you do first or what would you do next? You said, yeah. And so you would do, if you had a vendor, once again, that were not performing, you would not cancel the contract. You don't even have authority. So it starts to make sense. It starts to make sense.
Okay, that's helpful. And you spoke to this a little bit earlier. You have an intensive program that helps candidates pass in as little as 30 days, sometimes with a 95% success rate. Tell us more about that.
So, like I said, the boot camp is 2 weeks, Monday through Thursday evenings. And then Saturday mornings, we get up and get our coffee and our tea, and we go through the question drills. That way I can see how you're answering the questions. Meaning, do you answer, oh, the answer is B. And I'm like, well, how did you get B? Had you read C, you just got so excited about B. B was good, but had you read C, C was a little better answer. And so I really pay attention on how people are processing the information. And that's why my people are more successful, because it's not a one-stop shop. Everybody learns different. Everybody comprehends. After the boot camp, the community still stick together. That means the community still meets at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, to go over the question and the drills. And then you still have me, meaning you're sending me your test results and you're like, oh my God, I got 4 weeks. I'm like, girl, you got 4 days. Go pass this exam. So it's really a hands-on approach, because I want everybody to not just pass the PMP, but to show up different. I want you to work more effectively and efficiently. So yeah, you're going to get the piece of paper, but I want you to show up different.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And is that boot camp something that happens throughout the entire year? Are they certain periods, or maybe like there's just a website that you think could point people to maybe?
Yeah, so they can go to iwantmypmp.com, and all the dates are out there. So at iwantmypmp.com. So the classes now, they used to be once a month, but now they're once a quarter. So once a quarter. And my schedule is going to be on there. And your listeners will get a free consult with me and a free quiz to see if they really qualify for the PMP certification. And 9 times out of 10, you qualify. You qualify.
Yeah, we'll definitely take Tamara up on that. That is something that could be hugely beneficial for you in your career. I think, especially as people are thinking, as what does my career in public health look like under this new administration? This is something that you can really bolster to make yourself stand out and make that pivot or stay where you are, or whatever that case might be. So appreciate that. Do you offer any other programs outside the bootcamp, or is the bootcamp like the entire of your portfolio of work?
I'm glad you asked. So I do have a foundation of fundamentals course, and that's good for people that want to get their palette wet for project management. We talk about the difference between waterfall, agile. We talk about how to start a project. That way you can get familiar with some of the terms. I also offer a mastermind. So after people go through my program and get their PMP, a lot of people get those raises and promotions automatically. But some people need a little extra coaching. So a large majority of people come to me for coaching in my mastermind, where I'm just coaching women to the next level. So it's a great and amazing program. And I have very, very, very limited one-on-one coaching, like this much one-on-one coaching.
I know how that goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so definitely fit in that time if you're able to. Definitely think it'll be a valuable experience.
Yes.
Okay, shifting a little bit to maybe like negotiation and career empowerment advice. I know that you're an executive coach, been doing this for 20 plus years, or I've experienced 20 plus years. So would love to know what are some tips for identifying a person's value add in the workplace and the organization that they are in.
So I always tell people, keep a brag book, meaning what things have you done? Because we can't even remember what we ate last week, what we wore yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
So how are we going to remember at work what we did for our projects? And guess what? We want to leave it to management to make that decision. So I get excited when it's time for my performance review because I know I have done this. I've increased this number. I've decreased this. This is what I brought to the table. And most people are scared. They hate that time of year. I'm like, give me my money. So when you're able to quantify it and bullet point it, because nobody wants to read your dissertation, you're able to get your promotions and your raises. And you don't leave your professional development to other people. Yes, you should have an organization that pour into you, but it's up to you to raise your hand and say, I want to, get into project management. I want to get into Lean Six Sigma. I want to get into a professional development program within the organization. Because guess what? Management, they're busy. And I've been in management. We have work to do. We have to manage. We have budgets. We have a lot going on. And you're able to help us help you. So I would say, and we've seen this on a job description, you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to have the entrepreneur spirit in your day-to-day work. If you don't, you will be sitting at the desk, just waiting on a promotion and a raise. And that's not happening. It doesn't happen that way anymore. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and I like the idea of a brag book. Very, very simple, very tangible. As you said, yeah, I forget what I eat yesterday. So much, much worse what I did on this project. So really
Correct.
having a place for that, I think, is so important.
Correct. And so if we can't remember, how do we expect management to remember and they got 20, 30 people? Like, make that make sense. Make it make sense. And then we're mad because, they didn't remember. Shoot, you barely remembered. So
No,
we got to take charge of our own career. We really do.
that's true, and I think that's also important. Is how do you take the reins of your career and say like, hey, these are the things I've done. This is what I've done for the program, for the organization, and to that point, like ask for that salary increase or whatever that might look like to you. Or if not, then you have the case, an exactly case to say, okay, this is not the organization that values me, and maybe I need to take my work somewhere else.
That part. Because I've had clients that come to that realization. They were sitting there waiting on it. And then when I coached them, they had the numbers and they were like, oh, we can't, or not now. So we let that go around, maybe 2 rounds of not now, wait. But then we said deuces. Somebody else will value us because this is a relationship and it's a two-way relationship. So yeah.
And how do you help and support people building confidence around negotiating for better salaries, negotiating for remote work or other types of benefits?
It's an individual, but a lot of times I have to get to know them. And I love when people have kids and a lot of responsibilities. And I love when the kids are cannot microwave, meaning or do they go to daycare or they getting ready to go to college? They need a car because I use people kids against them. They're expensive. And a lot of people can't do it for them, but guess what?
Mm,
They can do it for their family. So if you're scared to ask for that $20,000, $30,000 increase, we talk about what that would afford you and your family. And guess what? You get the courage. You do get the courage. And so that's how we change our mindset. And the more you do it, the more yeses you get. Even if you get a no or a not now, like you said, you know where you stand. You know where you stand and you can move on. But that's how I get people to, you're never going to 100% get over the fear because I don't. I'm scared when I have to push that button and ask. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll do that for 50,000. I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay. That was easy. Because I have put my worth in writing.
absolutely. And you spoke about the role of mentorship and community and professional growth a little bit, but I want to give you a little bit more space to talk about that value, whether that's been in your career or through the people that you've coached.
Oh, you have to have mentors throughout, and not just mentors, you need sponsors. And that is totally different than a mentor. You need mentors within your organization, a company adjacent to your organization, outside your organization. So I have a whole board of directors my whole career. Before that was a thing, I've had it. I had an HR person, a finance person, a project management, a subject matter expert in tech. You need a combination of people you can go to and that will mentor you or sponsor you. So it is so important. And here's the thing, it's a two-way street. And people want, oh, I need a mentor, I need a mentor. It's not like that. You have a mutual relationship that just kind of gels and you guys work good together. And it needs to be organic because you're going to need to be meeting with this person and working with them. You're going to need to receive critical feedback and work on it and improve on things. And so a lot of people inbox me all day, every day. I want you to mentor me. I'm like, you don't even know me. Like you see me on social media. How about let's start with a coffee chat? How about let's start slow? Like date me or court me first, before you marry me. And so that's what people need to understand. And then you need a mentor and a sponsor before you need something because it's too late at that point. So you need to work your way up to it, build those relationships and those connections.
Yeah, that's important. And I think, like, to your point, is not only just people that you see that are interesting, but really like having that relationship and knowing that this is someone that's like values aligned and you just kind of like gel with in a certain way. I think is so important. As you are, because there's so many different people that could be your mentors, that could be your sponsors. So really trying to identify people that are most aligned and
Yeah.
resonate with you.
And let me say this, a lot of people assume, and I'm going to say this to your audience, assume that most of my mentors have been Black women. Well, how can they be if there are that few of us in the industry? So that is so far from the truth. Most of my mentors have been white men, some white women, and then recently Black women, but different parts, not in tech, in different areas. And so you have to have diversity because if you get the same, then you're going to learn the same. And so, for instance, I get all my negotiating techniques from white males. You see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want something different, you got to do something different. And you have to surround yourself with diversity.
Yeah, that's important, and it goes back to a time I was talking to my sister, and she was I can't remember what specifically it was around, but it might have been like a contract type thing, and just in here talking to me, I was like, oh yeah, you should just do that, and like she was in her head so much about it, but just having people that like think differently and can like
Yeah.
push you or like have a different perspective to say, yeah, oh yeah, that's fine, and
Yeah,
because oftentimes we know what we want to do, but we just need someone else to see it to us sometimes. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. So let's say I was thinking about getting my PMP certification. What would be some actionable steps to start that process? Would I go to iwantmypmp.com first, or what's that process look like?
You would go to iwantmypmp.com. If you know that's what you want, you go ahead and register for the next boot camp. If you have a couple questions, go ahead and set up a free consult. There are no questions off limit. Like I said, please stay off of Google University. I love it for certain things, but this, no. Because let me say this, there's a lot of bad information out there. And then there's a lot of outdated information. So all the resources that you need to get started are on iwantmypmp.com.
Okay. Well, I will definitely have that linked below for anyone that is interested. And as Tamara said, there is a free consultation for all of you that are interested in that. So definitely take her up on that.
Free. Most people are charging at least $50 to $75. I have paid over $100, $150 for people to have consults. Now, did they answer my questions really, really good? Absolutely. I am one of the very few people that are still, first of all, they do consults and they're free. But yet people still want to get in their brain. I think this is what I heard. Okay, keep thinking. And they said, who is they? Where are they at? I'm just saying.
So in your career, you've worked across industries and empowered countless women and men to achieve their PMP certification and career goals. What do you think is the single biggest factor holding early mid-career professionals, particularly women, back from reaching their full potential?
The mindset. That's it. It's just the mindset. I'm telling you, I am not the smartest one. I'm not the most technical. I see it every day, all day. There's some mediocre people doing things, and you're more than qualified. You're double, triple qualified, but it's the mindset. You're like, oh, I need one more thing. Oh, wait, I have to wait till I get this. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. It's the mindset.
And this goes into my next question. So you've worked with countless high achieving women who still experience self doubt. What's that first step they need to take to truly balance their value and advocate for themselves in their careers?
So I'm a component of therapy. I will say most of my clients do exceptionally well. They have therapy because let me be clear, corporate has done a number on us. So they have chipped away and, put all this baggage on us. So we got to release some of that. And so if you find yourself with that, and you got to be honest with yourself, how do you change your mindset? You get a coach, you get a therapist, and you work on your mind. We spend time on hair, nails, all this other stuff. We got to look inward. So I would say get professional help.
Yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for that as well, and have been a user of therapy as well, and not right now, but in the past. Um,
Absolutely.
but I appreciate you sharing that, and I think that is so important because there's so much to us, and just ensuring that we are good mentally is such a huge component in a lot that we talk about.
Yeah, because as a coach, I can only talk about moving forward. And the therapist, because I get so many women, but
Mhm.
they did this to me and they did that. I'm like, pump the brakes. That's therapy. You need to unpack that. And I don't believe in having pity parties. I might have one for 24 hours and then I'm done. And so that is a therapist to release some of that baggage.
No, I like that. Therapy to do the healing on the backwards and coaching to help you support and grow on going forward. That's a good
Yeah.
perspective. Okay, so Tamara, we've spoken about a lot today. Was there anything that I didn't ask you, anything that you did want to share with the listeners?
Um, we covered a lot. We covered a lot. Actually, we could probably have two more sessions and I can really get detail. But I just want to leave people and leave your listeners with this. Just do it. That's it. Just do it.
It is that simple. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, Tamara. So I do have one last question
So,
that I'm adding to these versions of the podcast, and it's a favorites question. So do you have a favorite that you've seen recently, whether it's a show, movie, musical, play, album, book, podcast, poem, like anything that you've seen over the last, I don't know, month or so that kind of like made you excited or inspired?
well, two in particular, two books that I recently read by Fawn Weaver, and I'm a huge fan. I've met her several times. Love and Whiskey. Um, Uncle Nearest, I love that story. I have, oh my God, I could go on and on, but that book is amazing because it's a book about entrepreneurship and history. I love it. And then the second one is, I believe it's called Through the Fire by Sheila Johnson, used to be co-owner of BET. She owns the hotel chain. Oh my freaking gosh. That book, oh my gosh. Oh my God. So those two books, I'm an advocate for women entrepreneurs. But when you understand the backstory, that's what excites me, the women that come out on the other side.
Well, I love that. I'll have to add that to my list. I was actually just drinking some Uncle Nearest, I think on, was that Friday with a friend. So I didn't know that there was a book. I'm guessing that's about the woman founder of the Uncle Nearest
Yes.
right now. But
Yep,
yeah,
Fawn Weaver. And like I said, I've been to several events with her at their house in Martha's Vineyard. I've been to the site in Shelbyville, Tennessee, and experienced it on both ends. But that book, it was just so much that I did not know.
Mm.
And I feel like I need to read that book one more time, maybe two more times, because like I said, it's a history lesson. It is truly a history lesson. And oh my God, yeah, your listeners must read that book.
Okay, awesome. I'll be sure to put it in the show notes for anyone that's interested as well. But Tamara, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your insights and expertise. And I hope that some people definitely take you up on the opportunity to advance their career through a PMP certification and coaching alongside that.
Thank you for having me.
Truly, it's my pleasure. Housekeeping items, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching or listening to this. Be sure to subscribe if you have not as yet. Leave a like if you're on YouTube. Leave a review and share it with a friend. Greatly appreciate you all. And see you all next week. Peace, everyone.